Imam Jazuli, rahmatullah alayh, a very famous saint, scholar from Morocco. He is famously known for the book Dalalilul khairat, which is a manual of salutations upon the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, Imam Jazuli, he lived in the Sousse area of Morocco. He was of a very blessed lineage. His family, his roots, go back to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam through Hazrat Imam Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anh and Hazrat Fatima radiyallahu ta'ala anha. Now, Imam Jazuli was from a middle class background, and initially his education was through the home, through his father. That's why it is very important that the education and the nourishment for the child begins at home. Later on, Imam Jazuli was sent to Fez, which was a capital for education in that day in Morocco. And Imam Jazuli, he studied fiqh, Maliki law, and other sciences. Now, the room that Imam Jazuli lived in and studied in is still pointed out to visitors to this day. Now, Imam Jazuli, he was very passionate about the Islamic sciences, and he used to spend most of his time learning and acquiring knowledge. He was thirsty for knowledge. He used to only leave his room for his classes and thereafter come back to his room and study and do his Islamic practices. However, people noticed that this person, he doesn't socialize within the community. This individual, he just goes out of his room to classes to gain knowledge, straight away after that come back to his room, not intermingling with other people. So word got through that maybe because he comes from a middle class background, he's got some wealth, he's got some treasure in his room. So what happened next was, a person that lived close to Fez once met the father of Imam Jazuli. So Imam Jazuli asked how his son was doing, and that individual told Imam Jazuli's father that he's doing really well. However, there's rumors going around in the locality of Fez that Imam Jazuli has acquired wealth and is hiding it in his room, and that's why he never intermingles with nobody, he doesn't talk to nobody, he just hides in the room and just goes to his classes. On hearing this, the father thought maybe the love of the world has come into the heart of his son, and he didn't want that. So he rushed over to see his son. He knocked on the door of the son's room and said, "It's your father, please let me in." So Imam Jazuli opened the door, the father rushed in, and all he saw in the room was the word Al-Maut written across all the walls of the room. On seeing this, the father straight away understood that, right, what people are saying, all the rumors are false. My son has gained knowledge and he's put this knowledge into practice, and what he's done is mutu qabla an tamutu, which means die before you die. As in Imam Jazuli, he mastered what he'd learnt and he killed his ego, got rid of his ego, remembered death, contemplated death, so that he did not feel like intermingling or meeting with anybody. Thereafter, the father told the people that were spreading the rumors that you should learn from this individual. Instead of spreading rumors, you should also contemplate death and also try to better yourself spiritually. Now, Imam Jazuli, he spent approximately 40 years traveling. He went to Mecca, Medina, Jerusalem. And in those days, people like Imam Jazuli, when they would travel, they would not travel just to see sights and just to see scenery. They would travel to acquire knowledge, wisdom, and to meet learned people. After the traveling 40 years, Imam Jazuli, he returned to Fez, and that's where he compiled the book Dalalilul khairat. Now, an incident took place before he compiled the book. Once, with his followers, Imam Jazuli came across a place where he wanted to pray Dhuhr Salah, and they found a well. They looked into the well and there was water deep inside. However, they never had a rope and they never had a bucket or any container that they could draw water out from the well. So the time for Dhuhr was coming to an end. They were really worried, Imam Jazuli and his followers, about how to get the water out, how to perform the Salah, the wudu. So on seeing all these people, Imam Jazuli was famous. So a little girl saw him from far and thought, I recognize him. Went over and asked, what's the matter? So Imam Jazuli said, do you have anything whereby we can take out the water from the well? And the little girl, she looked at the Imam Jazuli and said, I know you. Everybody knows you. You claim to be a big scholar, but you don't know how to take water out from a well. And she recited something and spat in the well. And as soon as she spat, the water from the bottom of the well, it rised up through onto the surface of the well. And when it came to the surface of the well, Imam Jazuli and his followers, his companions, his friends, colleagues, they done the ablution, they done the wudu, and they performed the salah. And straight after they finished the salah, they went over and tried to find the little girl. So they came across the house, they knocked, the little girl stepped out. And Imam Jazuli addressed the girl saying, I swear by Allah, I swear by our Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, tell me, how did you do this? How did you do this miracle whereby you just spat in the well and the water rose from the bottom of the well to the top of the surface of the well, and we could just use that water for our wudu? Now the little girl replied, I only acquired this through reciting durood, reciting salutations, reciting salawat upon the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And she mentioned a specific durood that she recited, And that durood is also found in the book Dalalilul khairat. So if you make a practice of reading this regularly, you will come across that durood and you will also be reciting it. It's a good practice to get hold of that book. If you can't get hold of the book, nowadays we use technology. So if you go on Google Apps and type in Dalalilul khairat, you can even download an app for free. So make use of it. Recite abundant durood, salawat on the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when the little girl told Imam Jazuli about this, about how she acquired this, Imam Jazuli took an oath that he would compile a book on salutations upon the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he did. Compiled the book. He went through a hadith and compiled what he could into a book. And it's very well written, where it's poetic. It has good structure, good du'as in it. So you should read the book whenever you get a chance. Make it a daily practice and be consistent, inshallah, in reading it. Now, Imam Jazuli, he was initiated into the Shadili Sufi tariqah, and he also in his lifetime spent approximately 14 years in seclusion in Khalwa, whereby he did a lot of spiritual practices to better the self, to better the soul. Later in his life, he went to a place called Safi, where he gained a big following, such a massive following that the governor of the area was against him. He felt threatened by Imam Jazuli's popularity, by Imam Jazuli's following and his influence. So the governor was an enemy. Later on, Imam Jazuli was poisoned and he died in prayer. Now, Wallahu a'lam, Allah knows best who poisoned him. However, it is said that where they buried him initially, a flood came, and the area where he was resting was covered in water. So the Sultan of the time ordered that Imam Jazuli's grave should be dug up and the body should be removed and be transferred and reburied in Marrakesh, where it is today. So it was approximately 70 years after the death of Imam Jazuli. Some say 77 years, some say 70 years. So 70 years after his death, they dug up his grave where he was initially buried, and his body was uncorrupted. He was just as fresh as the day that they buried him. And this is the miracle of the awliya, the miracle of the saints, the Sufis, the scholars of Islam. Just shows that what a person can acquire by reciting a lot of Durood Sharif. So I'd humbly request all of you to look into the life of Imam Jazuli and also get the book Dalalilul khairat. Or if you can't get the book, get the free app from Google Apps. Type in Dalalilul khairat. There'll be many versions. Get yours now. Thanking you.